So good evening to all of you. A warm welcome to Ahmedabad Management Association and to this program, The Art of Excelling at Examination. It is an honor and a privilege that I have got to introduce to you Dr. Nimrat Singh. Let me share some, and I'm not going to read out all, otherwise the time frame will not permit me that. Dr. Nimrat Singh is in the world of possibilities and excites others to believe the same. By education, she holds a PhD in organizational behavior. She has played a pioneering role in formalizing the field of counseling and career guidance in Ahmedabad. She was instrumental in starting the first counseling center of this city, Ahmedabad, way back in 1996. She is committed to helping people realize their fullest potential. Today, whatever she is going to speak is going to help each one of us understand not only ourselves better, but help us take the topic of performing better in examinations to ourselves as teachers probably, and to our children going forward. Well, her credentials, a long list of them, and she has touched upon every aspect of child psychology, human behavior, and organizational behavior. I will stop here and let her do all the talking. Invite you, ma'am, and as is traditional at Ahmedabad Management Association, to welcome our guests. I would please, ma'am, welcome to Ahmedabad Management Association. Yes, ma'am, it's all over to you. Thank you. I'm going to sit on the other side. Please.
Very good evening. This is a topic, I think, किसी को बोलते हैं ना कि it's not something we want to talk about. It's an uncomfortable topic in the house. Exam आ रहा है, पढ़ रहे हो, कितना पढ़ रहे हो? What is the extent we need to do? I think is different for different people. So I want to make a disclaimer before I start. I am no authority to tell you आपको कितना पढ़ना है, कौन सी book में से पढ़ना है, because that the tuitions and school is taking very good care of. We will not even go there. What I would like to cover in this is more your hygiene, study hygiene, how to be more effective. If you are studying, how to make studies more effective. Isn't that what we want? वो बोलते ना एक power, it's a skill. Studying, appearing for exam is a skill. Have you noticed sometimes students who are very good otherwise, all-rounders, they don't get the marks, and students who really don't put in too much effort end up with good marks. So there must be something happening which is required, which we need to understand as parents and as students. So I think because I just checked out, there are some 10th standard students. How many 10th standard students here? Okay, and 12th? Okay, the others all parents? Any other students? अच्छा, parents सुनने आए हैं students के behalf पे, because we are close to the exams, is it? Okay, so great, that's also fine. You can always go back, hopefully with more sensitivity towards your child, because ultimately we have to understand our children better so we can help them better, right? So why am I choosing to talk on this? Very honestly, I have had the experience of working in this field for the last 27 years. We founded this center, as Mr. Lobo said, in 1996 with the intentions of helping people to decide careers. ये ज़्यादा focus ये था कि many times students get confused what they should take and marks determine things for them. So we thought we should start something which is very specific to students. And in the due course, I published 2 books, and they were both from AMA, Proactive Parenting, and Talent to Career. The third edition for Talent to Career is getting ready. Interesting book hai in the sense that it helps you to understand how to study, because many times we talk about marks, but we need to understand how to study better. So that's something which we did. In this career, I have we worked with more than 5 lakh students for assessment, career assessment, and we worked with managers, teachers. I'm saying this because we need to understand that there's a lot of effort and time that has gone into developing this field, and whatever I'm sharing is purely from my experience working with students. It's not from books. So one of the things that comes to mind, what comes to mind when you think of the word exam? जैसे उत्तरायण ख़त्म होता है तब कुछ बोलते हैं वातावरण बदलना शुरू हो जाता है. इवन पेरेंट्स से अब हो गया, ये भी हो गया, ये फंक्शन भी हो गया. नाउ योर फोकस हैज़ टू बी ऑन एग्जाम्स. सो व्हाट आर द वर्ड्स दैट कम टू माइंड व्हेन वी थिंक ऑफ एग्जाम्स? Can you see those words that comes to mind? Tension, worry, stress, fear, pressure, headache. Sometimes it's also exciting. When we get good marks, then we are ready. We like some subjects, we enjoy that. Now what happens in stress, we need to understand, because if we can take charge of our lives. हम stress को काबू में ला सकते हैं तो हम बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं. और स्ट्रेस का कैसे पता चलता है कि a student is under stress? One is the body gets affected. That means the sleep gets affected, food habits get affected, isn't it? More perspiration, more difficulty doing things, the person becomes more restless. So bodily, you know, something is not right. Then mind-wise, forgetting happens. चीज़ याद रहते हुए भी student भूल जाता है. So you know that this could be because of stress. Not that the student doesn't know. If you notice, sometimes the student has studied something in the first term and the person knows it very well, it was very easy, got good marks, but forgets towards the end. So that can happen because of stress. Then emotions run high ना. क्या होता है घर पे? अगर मदर ने फेवरेट सब्जी नहीं बनाई उस पर गुस्सा आता है, ब्रदर जोर से बोल रहा है तो गुस्सा आता है, घंटी बजती है तो गुस्सा. तो इमोशंस रन हाई during this time, and the behavior also becomes, the child becomes moody, restless. All these are symptoms of stress. And when you ask the student कि आपको stress हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, tension हो रहा है, what does the student say yes or no? Students ही बोल रहे हैं no, because they don't know that that is stress, but that is stress. And what's very important to understand is stress is not coming many times from inside you, it is coming from the expectations others have of you, isn't it? तो ये जो pressure है, society creates it, school creates it, tuition creates it, friends create it, family creates it. Okay? Now some of the pressure is not bad. I'm not saying all stress is bad. Some stress is good. When is stress good? When you start doing things on time, you use the stress to channelize your energy to do well. Then that stress is a good stress. Now many times the stress is coming because you need good marks. You are being compared to Sharma ji's son or to your sister or to your cousin. That's where the problem comes. So you think you have to do as well as them. और कई बार parents also promise that हम आपको ये दिला देंगे वो दिला देंगे अगर तुम्हारे marks अच्छे आए. Now when the student knows he is not going anywhere close to those marks, it can also be a demotivator. So we have to be a little careful when we are telling them what we want out of them. It's that we want the best out of them. वो अपना बेस्ट करे उतना अच्छा है. किसी का बेस्ट 75% हो सकता है, किसी का बेस्ट 95% हो सकता है और किसी का बेस्ट 55% भी हो सकता है. So is he doing his best is what we need to really worry about. Now there is a very interesting diagram between stress and performance. अगर आप देखोगे ये bell shaped diagram आपको बता सकता है कि stress तीन किस्म का हो सकता है. लो स्ट्रेस, एवरेज स्ट्रेस और हाई स्ट्रेस. परफॉर्मेंस को कैसे अफेक्ट करता है वो हमें देखना है. व्हेन देयर इज लो स्ट्रेस, परफॉर्मेंस इज ऑल्सो लो बिकॉज देयर इज नो टेंशन. इट लुक्स लाइक कोई नेबर का एग्जाम है, अपना एग्जाम नहीं है. ओके, सो देन देयर इज नो स्ट्रेस एंड देयर इज नो परफॉर्मेंस ऑल्सो. Now, sometimes what happens is the stress becomes so high because the child is expecting something so unrealistic from himself that that also causes him high stress, जिसके कारण blank out, dizziness, ये जो हमने बात की stress की, वो सब behavior दिखना शुरू हो जाता है. Ideally, if the child has average stress, optimum stress, which we cannot decide, the child knows that this is maximum I can do. Like for example, कुछ बच्चे 8 घंटे पढ़ सकते हैं, कुछ बच्चे 2 घंटे कंटिन्यूस पढ़ सकते हैं, कोई बच्चे को आधे घंटे में ब्रेक की ज़रूरत पड़ती है. It's not that that student who is studying 8 hours is a better student. No, every student has a potential according to which the child is studying. I remember I used to take breaks very often, but I used to sleep before the exam. That memory was so good for me that I could remember a lot of things in my sleep. Some of you do that, सो जाते हो आप पढ़ने के बाद, and when you get up, the neural pathways, because you can remember very easily, because your mind gets cleared out. So every child has a different way of studying and different approach to revision also, so we need to understand that. But if the stress is optimum, जैसे बोलते हैं ना, pressure देने से पढ़ाई नहीं होती है. So how do you manage that stress for the student is the keystone. Now I am not getting into this too much because we are going to talk a little about what are the tips for taking exams. अब आपके 15-20 दिन रह गए एग्ज़ाम से पहले, मैं मान के चल रही हूँ 15-20 दिन है, ओके. तो आपका प्रीलिम्स भी हो गए, रिविजन हो रहा है, होम स्टडी, हैव यू ऑल स्टडी लीव नाउ, आप लोग स्टडी लीव पे हो, ओके, परफेक्ट. सो दिस इज़ द टाइम टू प्लान एंड रिवाइज. एंड हाउ? Some subjects are your favorite subjects, yes or no? Some subjects you don't like. And yet the truth of the matter is you have to study all subjects, whether you like it or no. So how do you balance studying all the subjects is the important thing. Revision हर subject की करनी ज़रूरी है, और बोलते ना break कर करके, you cannot just study one subject for the whole 2 days, 3 days. It may get too much for you. You may break it into studying 2 subjects. सुबह एक subject पढ़ी, शाम को एक पढ़ी, दोपहर को एक पढ़ी. Okay? I am not going to this parents how you all can help children, because I know that parents are more cautious. I will only say one thing: you don't take the stress. Help the child deal with his stress. I think वो important है. ये हमारा एग्ज़ाम नहीं है, लेकिन हमें पता है कई बार बच्चे अनरियलिस्टिक हो जाते हैं, डिमांडिंग हो जाते हैं, नाराज़ हो जाते हैं, उनका बिहेवियर चेंज हो जाता है. तो उसको हमें इतना ही समझना है कि वो उसका इट्स हिज वे आउट. बोलते ना पंचिंग बैग हमेशा लव्ड वंस बनते हैं. बाहर जाके हमारी हिम्मत नहीं होती है किसी को कुछ बोलने की, घर पे बोल सकते हैं बहुत ईजिली. हाँ, ये बच्चों को परमिशन नहीं है ऐसे करने का, बट हो जाता है, वो भी सही बात है, और मदर्स बिकम द टारगेट्स. So I think it is important for parents also to be the sounding board to their children, that they are going to have their ups and downs and we can still take it easy. एक बार एग्ज़ाम ख़त्म हो जाए then things can be discussed. Do not bring बड़े, वो बोलते हैं ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स तो सबके घर पे होते हैं, उसको बड़ा नहीं करना है अभी सिर्फ फोकस एग्ज़ाम और उसके ऊपर होना चाहिए, स्टूडेंट के ऊपर, उसकी डाइट, उसकी रूटीन, उसका जो उसकी पढ़ाई है उसके ऊपर. So this is what I would like to say for parents. See, one of the things I realize which is really important to get is exam is not a test of your intelligence. Remember that. It's not testing your intelligence. What is it actually testing? It's testing your memory. And it is testing your time management. You agree? 3 घंटे का पेपर और आपको सब कुछ याद करना है, कहाँ कहाँ से वो क्वेश्चन आए हैं, तो आपकी मेमोरी भी टेस्ट हो रही है और आपका टाइम मैनेजमेंट टेस्ट हो रहा है. आपको 3 घंटे समझ के तो जाना ही नहीं है पेपर. कितने घंटे का पेपर है आपका? 3 घंटे का, ओके. बट हमें 3 घंटे नहीं समझना है. कितनी देर का सोचना है हमें पेपर? 2.5 hours. क्यों 2.5 hours? एग्जैक्टली दैट वी विल कम टू, बिकॉज दैट इज़, उसमें आपके 5-10% भी बढ़ सकते हैं अगर आपने टाइम पे पेपर चेक किया और आपने छोटी छोटी चीज़ों पे वापस ध्यान दिया, एडिट किया पेपर, दैट कैन सेव यू अ लॉट ऑफ मार्क्स. एंड यू हैव सीन इट. आपने टर्मिनल्स दिए, प्रिलिम्स दिए, एग्ज़ाम्स दिए, हाउ केयरलेस समटाइम्स यू गेट. यूनिट्स डालना भूल गए, केजी डालना भूल गए, नंबर था 73, 37 लिख दिया या 72 लिख दिया, वो फाइनल आंसर लिखा ही नहीं, पूरे स्टेप्स कर दिए, फाइनल आंसर भूल गए. ऑल दिस कैन बी एडिटेड व्हेन यू फिनिश्ड योर पेपर ऑन टाइम. ओके, सो आपका पेपर कितने घंटे का है एंड उसकी तैयारी कैसे होगी 2.5 आवर्स की. एवरी टाइम यू आर राइटिंग, आप अपने आप को, चलो जितनी देर लगती है, 2.25 घंटे लगे, नेक्स्ट पेपर 5 मिनट कम हुए, 5 मिनट कम हुए, ऐसे यू विल रीच अ पॉइंट अपनी फ्लुएंसी के साथ आप इतनी अच्छी तरह प्रिपेयर्ड हो कि आपका 2.5 घंटे में वही पेपर कंप्लीट हो गया. फिर जो टाइम मिला आपने उसको एडिट किया और आप काफ़ी सरप्राइज हो जाओगे कि अरे यार ये तो केयरलेस था, एक ये कुछ भूल गए थे आप, आपने सोचा आपने ऑर्डर में किया. सी समटाइम्स यू डोंट राइट योर पेपर इन ऑर्डर, यू अग्री. कुछ चीज़ें जो आपको पहले याद रहती है, ईजी है, इम्पॉर्टेंट है, MCQ से आप पहले वो कर लेते हो, देन यू गो टू अदर साइड, अदर पेपर. इट्स पॉसिबल दैट यू थॉट यू हैड रिटन इट, पूरा रह गया. Sometimes you think that you have read the question well, but you have not read it properly. ऐसे होता है? Because you have not read it again. 2 बार क्वेश्चन 2 बार पढ़ लोगे ना तो आपको ख्याल आएगा, ओके नाउ आई गॉट इट. आपने पार्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन पढ़ा, दूसरा आपने अपने माइंड से इंटरप्रेट कर दिया, यही हो सकता है क्वेश्चन. यू हैव क्लाइम द रॉन्ग वॉल. वो टाइम बचाने के लिए आपने क्यों किया ऐसे, क्योंकि आपका टाइम बच रहा था, लेकिन रियली आपका टाइम बच रहा था. इफ़ यू हैव नॉट रेड इट ट्वाइस, यू आर नॉट क्लियर, सो यू विल बी रीडिंग द क्वेश्चन ट्वाइस. क्वेश्चन पढ़ने में फ्यू सेकेंड्स लगते हैं, लेकिन उसके बाद आपने अगर गलत पढ़ा और गलत लिख दिया, कैन यू इमेजिन कितना टाइम लगेगा वो आंसर वापस लिखने में. यू अंडरस्टैंड. सो मेक श्योर दैट यू आर रीडिंग द क्वेश्चन करेक्टली. Now there's one thing as a psychologist I want to draw your attention to, which is really important. हम बोलते हैं कि स्टूडेंट की मेमोरी ख़राब है, उसकी कंसंट्रेशन वीक है, वो याद नहीं रख सकता. ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है. It's just that the way we study things is where we go wrong. जैसे सपोजिंग मान लो मैं अभी आपको एक टेलीफोन नंबर बोलती हूँ, okay, 93270048. okay, right now if I ask you, you can answer me. क्या नंबर था? okay, now after some time, after we start talking, if I ask you the same number, will you remember? Chances are you have forgotten. Why have you forgotten? बिकॉज अभी आपकी ये जो है ना सेंसरी, पहला जो कुछ भी हमारे अंदर जाता है ना, वो हमारी सेंसरी मेमोरी में जाता है पहले. ओके, दैट ओनली लास्ट देयर फॉर 2 to 3 सेकेंड्स के लिए रहता है. तो जितनी देर आपने क्या किया, आपने रिहर्स करके मुझे बोला. ओके, सेंसरी मेमोरी इज़ वेरी शॉर्ट टर्म मेमोरी. टू टेक फ्रॉम द सेंसरी मेमोरी टू द शॉर्ट टर्म मेमोरी यू नीड 15 to 30 सेकेंड्स. ओके, तो जब आपने उसको शॉर्ट टर्म मेमोरी में ले गए, तो फिर आपको कोई तरीके से उसको लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरी में जाके सेव करना होगा. ये इतने फ्रैक्शन ऑफ अ सेकेंड में होता है, आपको ख्याल नहीं आता, बट दिस इज़ हाउ इट वर्क्स. इट ट्रैवल्स फ्रॉम द सेंसरी टू द शॉर्ट टर्म टू द लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरी. नाउ द होल ट्रिक इज़ हाउ टू टेक समथिंग फ्रॉम द शॉर्ट टर्म मेमोरी टू द लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरी. एक हमारे प्रोफेसर है, वो हमें कैंप्स पे ले जाते थे. आई थिंक ही वॉज अराउंड 70. इफ़ देयर वर 40-45 स्टूडेंट्स, I think out of that he would remember the name of 39-40 students easily in one introduction. He would not forget their name. Okay? किसी लोगों में खासियत होती है, और मैंने उनको पूछा, सर how do you do that? Actually he was creating associations with the names and the face, and that is why when he would see the face he would remember the name. ओके, ये शीतल जैसी है, तो उसका फेस देख के दिस इज शीतल. Now what I'm saying is, when you carry something from the short term to the long term for your exam, how does that happen? There are some tools, we all know those tools, but we don't use them many times. And I'll ask you one example. What are the stars of, what are the names of the planets? Can somebody tell me in the order what are the names of the planets? Okay. Anybody else can say how you can remember it? How do you remember it? Yes. My very elegant mother just served us pizzas, nice pizzas. Now Pluto agar lete ho to nice pizzas. Okay? So that's how we remember. We make the sentence and take the first, my very elegant, MVE. Okay? That's how we remember. Mercury, Venus, Earth. ऐसे चीज़ें हम याद कर सकते हैं. और एटलीस्ट हमारे साइकोलॉजी में इतनी थियोरीज होती थी. द ओनली वे टू रिमेंबर वॉज टू मेक एक्रोनेम्स एंड रिमेंबर देम. वो एक्रोनेम साइड पे लिख के छोड़ देने का, फिर उसका फर्स्ट वर्ड सेकंड वो क्या बोल रहा है पूरा एक्सपैंड कर करके पूरा 2-3 पेजेस लिख सकते थे. दैट वॉज ओनली पॉसिबल बिकॉज वी वर यूजिंग मेमोरी टूल्स. दैट्स द आर्ट ऑफ रिमेंबरिंग. अभी भी आप कर सकते हो. जो भी पार्ट आपको ऐसे लगता है कि दिस इज टफ, आई डोंट गेट दिस, मेक अ वे ऑफ befriending it. Find a way. Sit with your parents or sit with your brother, sister, sit with your friends, sit with your teacher. Find out, I'm not able to remember this. Maybe they will help you to remember it. एक हमारा बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट चीज़ है अभी साइकोलॉजी में जो हम पढ़ते हैं, वो टीचर ने एनवलप बना दिया. मतलब सीधा, फिर यहाँ से क्रॉस नीचे, और फिर एक बीच में सर्कल बना दिया. शी सेइंग यू रिमेंबर एनवलप? सर या वी रिमेंबर एनवलप. एंड देन शी जस्ट डिड दैट एंड शी सेइंग इट्स एन एनवलप. From the conscious to the unconscious, from the conscious to the unconscious, and that's where the you remember things. So I'm just saying, आप अपनी ही story बनाओ. You don't need to ask anybody. Your story, remember your way. जैसे बोलते हैं हम कोड करते हैं, उसको decode कर सकते हैं. How do you code? What do coders do? It's a logic. So use your logic to remember some things. Now you may not use it in everything, but in some things which are very long, उसके acronyms बन सकते हैं. तो ये शॉर्ट टर्म मेमोरी से लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरी में सबसे ज़्यादा फॉरगेटिंग होती है. जैसे मान लो आपने फर्स्ट टर्म में बहुत ईजी था और आपको सब कुछ आता है फर्स्ट टर्म का टिल द एंड ऑफ फर्स्ट टर्म. नाउ व्हेन यू हैव नॉट रिवाइज्ड एंड यू गो फॉर योर एग्जाम, डू यू थिंक यू कैन रिमेंबर एवरीथिंग? वाई? आपको तो बहुत अच्छे से आता था, अब क्यों नहीं आता? Because if you do not remember it in a particular way, you will forget. One. Second is, if you do not go through that again before your exam, you will forget. अब एग्ज़ाम से पहले आप बोल सकते हो कि मैं पूरी बुक पढ़ लूँ, I'll be able to read the book in 2 days. Not possible. How do you revise then? These are the techniques of revising. You have to find ways जिसमें जैसे बोलते ना, we will talk even about flashcards. You know what is a flashcard? आप जानते हो? Students, you know what's a flashcard? I will show you a flashcard and then you will know what that is. So अगर आपको ख्याल होगा ऐसे छोटे छोटे cards हैं, you can make it on your own, different colored cards. जैसे सपोजिंग आप बायोलॉजी या साइंस पढ़ रहे हो, उसमें डायग्राम्स आते हैं. If you can only put the diagram and you can label the things of the diagram, so much information can go in that one card. If you take the formulae of your maths, कोई भी आप ले लो सब्जेक्ट का, उसका फॉर्मूलाज अगर आपको याद रखना है, आप वो एक फ्लैश कार्ड पे पूरे चैप्टर के फॉर्मूलाज याद रख सकते हो. अब इसका फ़ायदा क्या है? रिविजन के टाइम ये चीज़ बहुत काम आती है, बिकॉज यू कैन जस्ट ओपन वन कार्ड, दैट कार्ड विल गिव यू ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन. आई एम कैरिंग फ्लैश कार्ड्स, आई विल लाइक टू शो इट टू यू इन अ बिट. तो कितनी ईजिली हम एक ही छोटे से पेपर पे, तो डायग्राम हो सकता है, ग्राफिक ऑर्गेनाइजर हो सकता है। जैसे मान लो, आई गिव यू एन, सो ये बहुत पॉपुलर तरीका होता है जिसमें आप कंडेंस्ड फॉर्म में कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर कर सकते हो। ये रिविजन में क्यों काम आता है? बिकॉज यू हैव ऑलरेडी स्टडीड इट, यू नो इट, इट्स जस्ट दैट यू वांट टू जस्ट रिमेंबर द key words to that key formula. You want to just know the formula, you know the steps. This is a revision thing, this is not to study, okay? And you can use this, you can ask your mother to quiz you, your father to quiz you, your friends to quiz you. It can become a fun thing and you can do a lot of learning through it, okay? So if you want, you can make these flashcards. This is another way. Now graphic organizers, आपने सुना होगा वेन डायग्राम, करते हो वेन डायग्राम्स? Mind maps is this you can make a full map of, supposing environment, you're looking at environment, what are the key things you're looking at in environment, you can just put little sub parts to that, उसके अंदर क्या detailing है, you can keep putting those details. Like this is just a full chapter, ये एक पेज में पूरा chapter आ गया. So this is the life cycle of a plant. Now you see in 6 lines, in 6 arrows, the entire chapter can be studied, and this is what you can mount on a flashcard. Becomes very easy to learn, isn't it? Science में जहाँ पे बोलते हैं ना स्टेप्स एंड स्टेजेस होती है, बहुत इजीली आप कर सकते हो. वेन डायग्राम हो सकता है जब आप कंपेयर और कॉन्ट्रास्ट कर रहे हो कोई चीज़ का, जो चीज़ें कॉमन एरिया में आती है आप वहाँ पे लिखोगे, जो चीज़ें अलग करती हैं, सिमिलैरिटी एंड डिफरेंसेस की, जस्ट इन 2 सर्कल्स you can make a Venn diagram. So this is about a plant, that how a plant can grow, what the plant needs to grow, what parts of the plant are there, what are the kinds of plants, how plants life ends, and of course where it starts. So starting to the end, the pura cycle is given so easily. इसमें आप की वर्ड्स लिख सकते हो, जो इम्पॉर्टेंट वर्ड्स है, जो आप भूल जाते हो कई बार. Just write those keywords. How easy it becomes to revise. Do you understand? Are you all getting an idea how it can be done? Pretty easy. Now all those things which you thought were the toughest, sit down tonight and try and see, okay, ये मुझे जैसे मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ तो बहुत मुश्किल हो रहा है. Now what is the easier way? Sit with your parents, maybe they can also give you some ideas how the same thing can be studied more easily. So this is about flashcards and about mind map. So now comes the important thing. कितने घंटे दिन में? 24 घंटे. कितने घंटे सोते हैं हम? 7-8 घंटे. कितने घंटे बचते हैं? 15-16 घंटे. अभी उसको हम कैसे मैनेज करें? सबके पास उतना ही टाइम है, लेकिन कुछ बच्चे उसको बहुत अच्छी तरह यूज़ कर रहे हैं और कुछ बच्चों को डर के कारण वो आज करे सो काल कर, काल करे सो परसों. इतनी भी क्या जल्दी है, जब जीना है बरसों. ऐसा ही है क्या? वेट, एम आई मेकिंग अ मिस्टेक? what is the right one? I don't know, I'm confused. क्या है सही चीज? क्या है? बच्चे, you know the true one, na? So whatever you have to do now, and that's the art of time management. I think useful to all of us, that वो जो हम बोलते हैं ना, हम ये दो चीज़ों में खेलते हैं, इम्पॉर्टेंट या अर्जेंट, या कई बार दोनों होते हैं. सो द फर्स्ट क्वाड्रेंट, ए क्वाड्रेंट इज ऑल द एक्टिविटीज़ विच you need to do, which comes in the quadrant A, important and urgent. And what are those things? Learning. अभी अगर आपको असाइनमेंट देनी है, जर्नल लिखनी है, आपकी क्रैमिंग करनी है एग्ज़ाम्स की, लास्ट मिनट प्रिपरेशन करनी है, कल एग्ज़ाम है तो आज अर्जेंट इम्पॉर्टेंट होता है. लेकिन अभी आपका एग्ज़ाम 15 दिन के बाद है, तो वही चीज़ आपके लिए इम्पॉर्टेंट है लेकिन अर्जेंट नहीं है. Our work right now has to be in B. The category B should dominate your life right now. It's important because exams are nearing. every day is important, but there is no urgency. अभी का भी ऐसे stress जैसा urgency नहीं है. So what do you normally do in this? Reading your notes, planning what you have to study, writing your papers, correcting your papers, doing more revision, okay? Then exercises and taking care of your health, setting your goals, place where you are studying, planning, what your hours of studies are going to be. So this is all in a planned way. In a very, B category is a very scheduled, planned category. Then the C category is urgent, not important. ये क्या करते हैं हम ये चीज़ों में? Interruptions, calls, messages, WhatsApps, ऐसे ही फालतू के talks and meetings and activities जो आप नहीं करोगे तो भी चल जाएगा, okay? Urgent है जैसे attending a birthday party or watching Pathan or watching the New Zealand match. These are urgent but not important. You understand? You can do with the score also at the end. Highlights देख के भी चल सकता है कि आप अगर क्रिकेट बफ हो तो आप हाइलाइट्स देख लो लास्ट में कि कौन जीता. पूरा टाइम आप बैठोगे टीवी के सामने, then it doesn't work. Okay? So here you have to do a little negotiation that now my exams are closed. There'll be a lot of things I won't be able to do. I will only stick to what is important, not urgent. And D category are the most extra things which we do, not urgent, not important. And what are those things? Time wasting. Time waste होता है, phone calls, excessive TV watching, surfing the net, dreaming, excessive sleeping, gossiping, fighting with your brother or sister, anything. Taking longer breaks than what you are studying. 2 घंटे पढ़ रहे हो, उसमें आपके ठिकाने नहीं, आप आधा घंटा इधर उधर घूम रहे हो. So those are your time wasters and that's what you need to save yourself, because वो चोर है ना, आपका टाइम चुरा रहे हैं. तो वो आपको जैसे आपको ध्यान में आए कि वो हो रहा है, bring yourself back. होता है. When you start dreaming, मेरी holiday कहाँ पे होने वाली है, मैं क्या, मुझे मेरे parents क्या दिलाने वाले हैं. We think many times all these things. But the moment you remember it, come back to your studies. Because time management is a skill. That day is not coming back, but the next day you have to be more productive then. Okay? So you got this time management matrix. This is important. That एक दिन पहले प्लान कर लो कल कैसा क्या क्या करने वाले हो. Are you writing a paper? Are you going to revise? Are you going to study which subject? How are you going to take a break? What are you going to do in that break? You may want to do painting, drawing, music. You may want to walk, run around a little, because your body also needs some exercise. You cannot be sitting all the time. तो वो सब आपको पहले से प्लान करके रखना है. Now there are some tips for exams. I have given this to you in a handout. So maybe we'll just distribute it. आप distribute कर देंगे handout. तो ये मैंने आपको थोड़ा सा आइडिया दिया है. हम कितने बजे उठते हैं एग्ज़ाम के लिए? जिस दिन एग्ज़ाम होता है क्या करते हैं? ज़्यादा पढ़ते हैं, रात को सोते ही नहीं हैं, सुबह बहुत जल्दी उठ जाते हैं, फिर थक जाते हैं एग्ज़ाम में जाने तक. So we have to be little intelligent, because the body can be tired, mind can be tired, and we don't want to go tired into an exam, right? तो एक तो है rise and shine. पहली चीज़ है आप सुबह अपने टाइम पे ही उठो. डोंट overdo it, do not stretch it, because आपका बहुत दिन एग्ज़ाम्स चलने वाला है. So it's not a one day quick solution. Do get up in the morning. अगर कुछ बच्चों का सुबह बहुत अच्छा रहता है, please focus on the morning. If you think your morning is a better time to study, do all your reading, revision in the morning. Afternoon is a time you may write papers. And evening is the time you may want to correct the paper to see where you are making the same mistakes again and again. I'm just giving you an example. So it's important that focus on the most important part of your time, of your day, which you are very energetic. कुछ बच्चे रात को ही पढ़ते हैं, कुछ सुबह सुबह पढ़ते हैं, कोई लोग होते हैं कि दोपहर को ही उनको समझ में आता है ज़्यादा. फेयर इनफ, वॉट एवर यू डू, just follow that. No right or wrong in that. Breakfast, what do you think? Is breakfast important or no? Why is it important? Okay. So it's the brain that needs khurak also, na? It needs the energy, it needs the, what you say, the, you've woken up in the morning. If you don't have fruits and milk and something heavy, in the sense not carbohydrates but something which is energizing, which stimulates your brain. ये तो बहुत स्टडीज़ हो चुकी है जिसमें बताया कि अगर ब्रेकफास्ट खाते हैं हम, it is a stimulant to the brain. Your studies can be better. So please do not neglect. बोलते ना मेरे को खाने से नींद आती है. कौन से खाने से नींद आती है? पिज़्ज़ाज़ और बर्गर्स खाने से. ओके, फ्रूट खाने से, वेजिटेबल खाने से, पोहा खाने से नींद नहीं आती है. Isn't it? When you are heavy on carbohydrates, that's the time your body gets dull and sloppy. So please do eat breakfast, do have whatever you eat. Log off. Log off मतलब क्या? अगर आपका मोबाइल आपके पास रहता है तो वो आपको डोमिनेट करता है और बुली करता है, वो आपको भी पता है. एवरी टाइम देर इज़ अ साउंड, देर इज़ अ वाइब्रेशन, immediately your mind goes there. Keep your mobile where? In the other room. Go there when you have to go. It should not bully you by dominating you, okay? So that is something. Log off from all your devices if you are studying. It's only study time. You cannot do two things at the same time. At the most, it is proven that music can be helpful. That also instrumental music, not any kind of music, very light instrumental music, because that is not coming on the way of your studies. You're not competing with the music, okay? So that also depends if you feel the need to do that. Past papers तो जैसे बोलते हैं अभी आप लोग को वो तो करना ही होगा. लास्ट 10 years के जो भी पेपर्स आते हैं, that's what you have to keep practicing, because what I understand from professors is, from teachers and professors who teach for the longest time, 80%, 75-80% of the papers set on the last 10 years. I'm not sure of that, but it's a good way to revise. And one of the things which is very important is, sometimes questions come in a tricky manner. You still have to answer them. So how do you understand the question? So reading the question becomes important. थोड़ा भी आपके समझ में अलग हो जाए तो आपका आंसर, तो reading is something which is a must, right? Then stick to the plan. Get colorful. What does it mean to get colorful? जब आप टेक्स्ट बुक से पढ़ रहे हो और कुछ चीज़ें आप हाईलाइट करते हो, ये इम्पॉर्टेंट है, एक रेड कलर से हाईलाइट किया, येलो दैट दिस इज़ वेरी ईजी सो आई डोंट नीड टू गो थ्रू दिस अगेन, ब्लू दैट दिस इज़ आई नीड टू कीप आस्किंग दिस, ये मुझे अभी भी कॉन्सेप्ट थोड़ा मुश्किल लग रहा है. सो इफ़ यू कैन इवन हाईलाइट सम थिंग्स, because we already know, you are told by your teachers, some things are very important, they come in different ways. Short में आ सकता है, it can come in a MCQ, it can come in a long answer, so you have to be prepared for that. So how do you prepare? You can use markers, colors to remember कि ये चीज़ मुझे बार बार पढ़नी है. Same thing in your flashcards. All the things you find difficult, just put them on a flashcard. और वो हर टाइम जब भी आपको टाइम मिलता है आप वो फ्लैश कार्ड रीड कर लो. यू विल गेट द डायग्राम, यू विल गेट द ग्राफ, you will get the gist of the lesson, right? Then stick to the plan, take breaks, teach किसको teach करना है आपको? You can teach somebody. वो बोलते हैं ना, जब हम पढ़ के दूसरे को पढ़ाते हैं तो हमारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स क्लियर होते जाते हैं. बड़ी पेयर को हम सिखाते हैं, अपने पेरेंट्स को सिखा दो that I understood this. Sometimes towards the end when you've done everything, if a YouTube has a very interesting way of explaining something, you can go there also. So आपकी revision complete हो सकती है. You can't go on YouTube first. First is your textbook, then is your whatever material you have been given, papers you've been given. Third is all the papers which you solve. And then if you have time and you want to learn in an interesting manner, then a YouTube can give you a understanding of that concept. So you can choose that also. And lastly, do not study at the last moment. वो जो बोलते हैं ना, लास्ट मोमेंट में आपको किसी ने बोल दिया, अरे तूने ये पढ़ा, ये क्यों नहीं पढ़ा, ये तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये तो आने ही वाला है. Please do not buy such things, because it is a way of unnerving yourself. There's no need to get into those kind of things. You studied whatever you could to your best knowledge, that's good enough. Do not start, getting into these competitions in the end. So now this is before, this is for revision. Now last 24 hours में countdown begin हो जाता है ना. अब तो क्या होता है, हर पर्सन अलग डिफरेंट वे से रिएक्ट करता है. ओनली 24 आवर्स लेफ्ट, सो इट्स अ डिफरेंट वे एवरीबडी रिस्पॉन्ड्स. सम पीपल स्टार्ट कूलिंग ऑफ, कमिंग ऑफ, बैकिंग ऑफ एंड सेइंग नाउ आई नो इट, now I'm not going to get worried and stressed about things. I could do my best, I've done it. Some people start thinking, oh my god, it's only 24 hours and I cannot do anything. तो ये थोड़ा सा हमारा जो हम माइंडसेट है, ये हमें समझना है कि हम पेसिमिस्टिक हो जाते हैं, नर्वस हो जाते हैं, एंग्शियस हो जाते हैं. और वो जो आपको मैंने वो दिखाया ग्राफ, स्टे not so stressed. Optimum stress will give you the best results. So now what we have to do is, don't get tired is the first thing. Then you have to think about eat the protein, not carbohydrate, before going for exam, like sprouts or chanas or sing or fruits or milk or cereal or dal bhat also. Eat those kind of things. Don't call food from out like pastas and pizzas, because they can get very heavy. Eat nourishing home food, but please eat and go. Get the important fact about short-term memory. I've told you about it, that make sure that your things are revised enough that you know how to remember it from your long-term memory. It's like a library. आप लाइब्रेरी में बुक लेने जाओगे, अगर आपको पता है आपको साइकोलॉजी की, इकोनॉमिक्स की बुक चाहिए, तो आप देखोगे ना ये बुक्स कहाँ पे पढ़ी, आप वहाँ पे जाओगे. So it's the same thing. If you've read in something in maths chapter 3, you have to know that it is stored there. So I can go there and retrieve it. ये formula है, ये expansion है, ये answer है. Simple, it's nothing. You just know where to go. Naturally you know how to go there. And lastly, exercise, because your blood needs to be pumped. उधर ही खड़े होके spot exercise करना, जो भी, to make yourself feel you're ready for action. Then the exam itself, what happens is, you have been told by your teachers, or you know how to attempt the paper. Honestly speaking, for me, I may be right or wrong, do not go by what I am only saying, ask your teachers. एक सीक्वेंस में आंसर करना ऑलवेज बेटर रहता है, या आप मार्क कर ही जाओ कि आपने क्या क्या आंसर कर दिया है, क्या नहीं किया. यू पुट अ क्रॉस, सो यू आर वेरी क्लियर what you have left and you missed out. So have your own strategy how you are going to answer the paper. Second is, do the easiest, if you feel easiest questions first, that is your strategy again. Look for the marking system. See, if you have a 10-mark question and you are going to spend only 5 minutes doing a 10-mark question and a 5-mark question because you like the answer to that, you are spending 10 minutes with that. It makes no sense. Okay, what they are going to look for is, are all the points there. And always, अगर आप supposing आप example दे रहे हो, उसमें 6 points थे original answer में, अब आपको सिर्फ 4 याद है, 2 याद नहीं है. Try and answer the most important ones first. Then go, okay, मुझे vaguely ये याद है, vaguely ये याद है. 5 and 6 may not be the perfect, you may guess, but the first 2-3 also are perfect. It will create a impression that this child knows. Okay, do not bluff, be as genuine as possible, write it the way you remember. So the best answer should go first, because see, it's like if you go into any place, would you like a neat, clean, organized place, or would you like to go to a chaotic place? हमको क्या पसंद आता है. अगर आपको कोई खाना देता है तो एक बहुत मेसी प्लेट में दे या अच्छी तरह प्रेजेंट करे तो आपको अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन अच्छा लगता है ना. अब आप समझो कि वो आपका जो टीचर करेक्ट कर रहा है वो कितने पेपर्स करेक्ट कर रहा है. ओके, ये जो साइकोलॉजी है उसकी, द व्हाट यू से, यू कॉल इट वाइब्स, गुड वाइब्स. जब हम कोई चीज़ देखते हैं और वो चीज़ हमें बोलते अरे वाह, दिस पेपर हैज़ बीन वेरी वेल स्ट्रक्चर्ड. Question number 1A, it is underlined, the answer is underlined, the handwriting is neat. Won't that create a good impression and a good vibe? I'm not saying if your handwriting is not good, you won't get marks. But it will definitely make a difference. आपको ऐसा लगता है it will make a difference? Your handwriting is good, you finished everything, you marked the number and the units, you have underlined it. All the important points are underlined. Fantastic. The teacher may not go through everything. I know now because I correct MBA papers. I teach at Nirma, so I correct the papers. If I have to correct 70 papers in 3 days, how will I correct 100 marks papers? 7,000 marks का मैं कैसे correct करूँ? तो मैं क्या करूँगी? मैं important points देखूँगी. I know what are the important points. They know the important points. They will look whether those points are present. If they are present, you will get the marks for that. And if you have underlined, तो बहुत अच्छा. Remember, presentation is an important thing. How much ever you do, if supposing तुम paragraph के paragraph, कोई paragraph नहीं, लिखते ही जा रहे हो, end ही नहीं हो रहा, ना question वो full stop आ रहा है, ना comma आ रहा है, और ना वो second paragraph में जा रहा है. It's like, oh my God, ये क्या लिख दिया इस बंदे ने इतना. You get lost in that, and they have very limited time. Understand their psychology. They are not going to, they are not interested in, they will read it, but please help them to read better. So these are some things which you have to keep in mind so that it creates a good impression on your examiner, right? Take a bottle of water, do not get stuck, move on. If you don't know the answer, mota, come back to that, you're not remembering. No wasting time, because time is really, I've seen a lot of students mess up because अरे मुझे आता था, मैं तो ट्राई कर रहा था, मुझे याद करना था. No, leave it. Come back to it later. Tell your mind it's okay. I can come back. पहले तो मुझे बाकी जो complete करना है वो कर लो. I told you, memory and time management are two things which are being measured, not your intelligence. Okay, so keep that in mind. Then as I said, mention the best pointers first, highlight and underline the pointers, so that what you are doing is you are making your paper pleasurable. Okay, तो ये हो गया अभी आपके revision का, 1 month का, whatever, all time, how you have to manage your time, how you have to use different graphic organizers, how you can you use flashcards. Then we looked at the one day before, how you have to prepare, how you have to stay calm, only do what is important, do not get into things which you don't need, rest enough, eat the right kind of food, go into the exam at least half an hour, 15-20 minutes earlier, so when you sit down you get time to breathe normally, you're not getting into an anxiety state. Okay, all that is important. And then finally, when your exams are happening, keep marking things so that your presentation is par excellence. अब एग्ज़ाम हो गया, कैसे होता है फिर? एग्ज़ाम हो गया तो अरे ये आंसर गलत हो गया, ओ माय गॉड. Then you ruin your mood, you get disturbed, you get angry. Doesn't make sense ना. अब तुम्हारा दूसरा पेपर तो तुमको लिखना है, वो you cannot get into this, you can't get worked up about it. So relax, review what went right, and practically dwelling on what you did not do correctly. Don't waste your energy. हो सकता है आपको याद आया ये आंसर ही नहीं किया, ये आंसर ही गलत हो गया, उधर तो सेंटीमीटर तो लिखा ही नहीं. ठीक है, अभी हो गया ना. Now there's nothing you can do about it. Reward yourself. Remember that there is more to look forward to than अभी एग्ज़ाम हो गया तो नेक्स्ट क्या होता है? मज़ा. उसके बाद क्या होता है? अब क्या करना है career wise, isn't it? We look at now, I need to know whether I'm going to take a science A group, B group, whether I want to take commerce, I want to go into a diploma, I want to give a competitive exam, वगैरह वगैरह. That's what we do. Okay. So career planning is an important part. So knowing yourself to decide, not your marks should decide where you have to go. Marks can be important, but they should not decide for you. Okay? So identify your skills, research on career options, link things to what you really want, what is your dream. See, engineering is important. Doing it from IIT may be a dream, may not come true, but still you can be an engineer. So you have to think in terms of what you really aspire for, right? And finally, we would leave you with this offer that we do online 2.5 hour test, which looks at all these aspects: your orientation style, your interest, aptitude, personality, and EQ, based on which we are able to give you a lot of understanding of what are the best courses for you, what stream is good for you. If you're in the 10th, in the 12th, we can tell you what competitive exams. All this will be available to you at a 20% discount because you'll have joined this from AMA. And that's it from my side. Now, if there's any question, otherwise, please, if you all can fill the feedback form also before you all leave, that will be nice. Thank you.